Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Hawk,
This is Lady Hawk.
and this is...
Hok Talk.
And I almost screwed that up.
You did.
I did, almost.
I saw it in your face.
It's... Well, to be fair, we're a little bit late today. Our schedule is kind of up in the air.
We had an older kid who had a friend over, and we had to drive her home.
Yeah, we've been busy. So
It's been a good give-take with that friendship, though, because her mom does one drop-off, we do the other drop-off. It's been working.
yeah,
so.
it's working out well. It's good. It's pretty nice. She's happy, the older one's happy and having interactions with
We've
people,
had
so.
some transitions with housing in the last several months, and so our oldest is now with us all the time. And because of that, she's missing the friendships that she has that were over at the other parent's house. So that's what we've been navigating.
Yeah, she's getting there, though.
Yeah.
It is her thing, and I don't know what they do, carve pumpkins or some stuff like that.
They've been doing a lot of craft stuff.
They've had a pretty good time.
Which has been good.
Readying up here. Other thing, we had a very stressful week, too. We haven't watched baseball in about 10 years, but...
That was the stress.
All of a sudden, it's like, hey, where did this team come from? So, ended up watching the Diamondbacks.
Arizona, where were you?
Didn't see that. How the hell?
Don't ask. Celebrity Side-Eye segment.
What we got this week?
We have Jonah Hill this week. And Jonah Hill is the chubby guy turned skinny guy who apparently has always been a big jerk. And now it's coming out because now he has decent looking girls that are giving him attention and they realize he's a jerk.
Yeah, I can see that.
So there was a relationship. Obviously, you cannot put a lot of credence into messed up relationships. But when you start seeing text messages that come from Jonah Hill in which he's berating this young woman because she has friendships. This woman, I think she is a professional surfer, or she was a professional surfer. But basically, one of the things that he was sending her messages about and what he was going after her about was because she has friendships with men. She's had these friendships for years. She is in a sport. This is something that she was friends with these people before. Some of them help her train, just different things like that. And it's come to, well, if you're not going to respect my boundaries, we can't be together, berating her, very emotionally and verbally abusive. And so here's the thing. I've been in relationships like this. I have. And when you're in it, you really don't know you're in it. And then when you step out of it, it's kind of like you start recognizing all the things that you told yourself you would never put up with. And so I feel for her, but it's scary knowing that there is a man like that out there in the public for others to see and role model themselves after. And this is the way he behaves. I really was impressed with him and kind of his demeanor after going through some of the things he's gone through and then losing all this weight. And he flat out told people, I understand that you're excited for me that I've lost this weight, but when I see myself, I still see myself as the fat kid. I think that's where this insecurity is coming from. But his toxic behavior, I don't understand it.
I can absolutely see it, though. It doesn't surprise me at all.
The what?
His behavior doesn't surprise me at all.
Well, and he's always, some of the roles that he has taken on, he's been kind of a jerk in those roles at times. He's also been the total nerd. I think the nerd aspect is how he sees himself. And then the jerk aspect is how he's defended himself in the past with bullies and things like that. But he's become the bully. And the problem is I think this woman really wanted to be with him. I think she really wanted to build a life with him. And he just and I've been in relationships like that where the guys are just, they anyone you talk to, anyone you look at, you must be doing something with them, right?
Yeah, you can't
Meanwhile,
have
I
friends,
have a husband who has had relationships with trust issues, and he doesn't treat me like that, not even a little bit.
I could, but I'm not going to. It's way more work to be all that insecure. But I mean, it goes both ways, because I mean, anybody could be insecure about anything. But I mean,
Well, and
I started losing my hair when I was, like 19. So I have insecurities, but I'm growing out of those as I get older. It's like, all right, everyone else I know is not having hair and getting bald and fat now, so it's okay. I just matured faster than the others.
you matured. I don't think mature is the right word.
I'm gonna say, okay, whatever. Yeah, whatever. I
You
matured.
aged.
I did not age. I aged like Swiss cheese.
Oh, you're holy?
No, not even close.
No, Swiss cheese is holy.
Like, you know what I mean? Okay, more like I don't know, Gouda.
Gouda.
Goat cheese. Yeah.
So, it's I remember having a conversation with one of my children when they started dating. And they had gotten themselves in a situation where they were in a relationship with somebody who didn't want them talking to other people, didn't want them doing things without them, things like that. And as soon as I heard that come out of my child's mouth, I said, you understand that's abuse, right? Because I remember being that age and not understanding that that was abuse, that, your significant other wants to spend all their time with you. How nice is that, right? And they want to be with you all the time, and they don't want you doing anything with anybody else because they just love you so much. No, that's control. That's absolute control.
I mean, we're all guilty of it from time to time, but it's just that consistency. Because I mean, a marriage is give and take, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so there may be times where one of us is pushing the boundaries in the other person's eyes. Not like cheating or just doing things, or spending time elsewhere, or what I do it all the time. I get stuck doing like a project. That's all I can think about is doing this project. Other things get neglected, and you need that. Hey, what are you doing? But it's one of those where I'm not gonna look at you and be like, "Oh, you're being controlling, not letting me do my stuff."
Well, and there's, I think for every relationship, it's probably different. I think for every relationship, there's different boundaries and different guidelines where people do or do not feel comfortable. But when the relationship forces you to become somebody that you really aren't, you stop seeing the people that you used to see, you stop talking to people, whatever it is, that's when you know that there's an issue. Because if all of these things used to make you happy and now you won't do these things anymore because of the person in your life, there's the common denominator issue.
Right. And it's not like I have grown and changed. Because, there's things we used to do that we don't do anymore.
Right.
I don't know how you made that work.
I don't know how I made that work either, but I didn't make that work, so.
I was just hoping you saved it, because it was actually a really cool, save. Which you just kind of went outside the wheel, came back on somehow, went in, I don't know what you did. What's a bonus? Yeah, but no, it's one of those where, and it's the thing, is the boundaries. I think those relationships get out of control because one person's missing something and they just overlook all the boundaries that are just being taken away. Like, the person puts up so many fences and so many boxes that you just don't see it happening. And by the time you realize, you're like, crap, I'm way too in it. Hey, there's a lower level to this thing.
Well, and I don't remember my parents having those conversations with me about healthy boundaries and relationships. I just kind of figured it out on my own. And 3 marriages in, obviously I didn't do that great of a job to begin with. So I want to put my children in a situation where they can be successful in their relationships the first time, not the third time. things happen, life happens. We all make mistakes. We all make bad choices. We all have learning lessons that we have to go through. But obviously as parents, we want to help our kids avoid the hard learning lessons as well as they can.
Right. I mean, you're going to learn hard lessons. That's kind of the way it works, you know?
I mean, at the end of the day, we could sit here with our head in the sand and pretend like our children are not going to have relationships and they're not going to have
nope, never,
other romantic situations in their life, but they are. And so preparing them for those things and preparing them to understand what their worth is and what they should and should not put up with, I think is vital.
I totally agree with that.
I mean, we've got the definitely diverse group. We have a child that is part of the LGBTQ community. We have a child who's becoming an adult. And then we have a child that is just trying to figure it out.
Oh, yeah, he's 7. He's figuring everything out, pushing boundaries.
Mm-hmm. So we have learned very quickly that we can't try to decide who our children are going to be. We kind of just have to go on this ride with them and then give them as much knowledge as we can and let them know our mistakes. You know, part of what we were talking about last week when we were talking about we fight like every day, our children see that, but they also see how we resolve our conflicts within a few minutes.
Well, there's obviously like the bickerments we have that aren't arguments. When there's an actual argument, it doesn't matter like kind of where we're at. It's going to happen. And
we're a family, and
right.
The family has the good, the bad, the ugly. They're going to see it all. If you aren't seeing it all, there's a problem. You're lying.
Yeah, right?
You're not being completely authentic there.
Yeah, you're missing the point. But no, I mean, all in all, they're figuring it out, and we're all doing.
We're figuring it out.
Yeah, we're figuring it out, and we decided, hey, let's make a podcast about it because we don't know what we're doing, so we'll just pretend like we do. And
no, I think what we're doing is we're making other people understand that if they don't have it figured out, it's okay, because we don't either. Nobody does.
That's the goal. It kind of was the goal of the whole.
Mm-hmm. It was.
We had, we felt like we just needed to get our voices out there, and
there are things that we will be going through and discussing at some point that are more in depth, that are a little bit more involved. But at this point, just building the rapport and making sure people understand that we're right there with you. Like, we are fully willing to admit our flaws and our faults and try to learn from them. My biggest thought process has always been, if I don't admit to my common denominator issues, I'm never going to be better. And, I would have conversations with people about the end of my marriage, from my former marriage, and which parts of it were my fault, which parts of it I did wrong. Because if I don't admit to those things, if I don't see those things, I'm not going to be better.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're not 100%, innocent in anything, really. I mean, you kind of saw how my last one kind of played out because you got to know the person,
mm-hmm.
And you started realizing I wasn't sitting there just kind of blowing smoke and trying to, just make up stories that weren't there. After a while, you kind of started seeing what I saw.
Well,
and I know I'm not perfect.
But even with that, I will say, no matter what my feelings are about people and those situations, we all see things from our perspective. So whereas, yes, you are right, there are some issues there that you're absolutely factual on. I can also see it from the other perspective of why a reaction might happen the way it happens in relation to your behaviors at times.
Right, and that's something I couldn't see.
And that's not a dig at you. It's just that if I didn't know you the way I know you, I may have the same issues with you.
And I am fine with that. I really don't care if people have issues with me.
But you should care if your wife has those issues with you.
You're going to have issues. If not those, you're going to find new ones. You'll have issues with me I didn't even know I possibly could give out vibes for.
Yeah, do you want to know the issue we had this week? Because we'll just talk about the bickerment right now, because this guy... So we had this whole plan. We had a whole plan.
My perspective was there's no plan.
No, you and I discussed it. So the fact that you're pretending like your perspective is completely not in alliance with reality is troubling.
Most of the stuff I think and say don't really align with reality sometimes, let's be honest. And that's like factual.
So bickerment. So I had...
Hold on.
I had high school...
Do it like the graphic.
No, I had high school reunion events this weekend. So our plan was, we flat out discussed it. We said, okay, we're not going to be able to record on Saturday like we normally do. So what should we do? Do you want to record Saturday during the day? And Hok says, no, let's do Sunday evening because we'll do it after the kids go to bed. And that way the house will be more quiet. Okay, great. So Sunday comes along, and he's over there playing his computer game by himself.
Hold on. See, once again, there's facts missing here.
No.
Because your friend stayed over that night also, and was
was already the plan.
Yeah, but she was here until like early afternoon, and I don't know how
she was over until 1.
Early afternoon.
But see, we didn't plan on recording until after the kids went to bed, so why did that matter?
But it didn't, because I was like, all right, let's go. Because I felt.
No, so he threw a tantrum because he was hangry.
It was.
He hadn't
not
eaten.
Feeling good. I had a headache, and I was not feeling good.
He was hangry. He's the one that always accuses me of being hangry, but this person...
Oh, you get hangry.
Oh, I know I do.
You get
I'm
hangry.
fully aware I do. Whoa. I'm willing to own that.
What happened?
Like I said, common denominator issues. That's one of mine.
That's
I
like
get
your
hangry.
favorite buzzword, common denominator.
It's not a buzzword. It's a term.
Really?
What?
Not you, the game.
Oh.
Really. You said if it could happen to anyone type thing.
No, it's usually me.
I bounced off the rim of the finish twice and didn't go in.
I did that too.
Oh, I just did it again.
I just did it again. Anyway. So, bickerman of the week. So, yeah, he pretends and tries to gaslight me. And I'm going to use that word because that's exactly what you did.
I didn't say I wasn't. I mean, I eventually was like, we probably did have this conversation.
We did. I was so mad at him.
Oh, it's moving. That's why.
But not only that, I had spent an hour. He went to go pick up our daughter's friend so that they could do crafts. He went to drop off our daughter so she could go do crafts with her friend. And so, he's doing that, and I'm spending hours getting all the things set up for the podcast to go live on an actual podcast network instead of just being on YouTube. And so I'm like in it, and I'm writing stuff, and I've got content, and he comes back and he's like, well, we're not going to record. We don't even have content. I'm like, what have I been doing this whole time? I was so mad.
I don't know.
So that was...
Hey,
that was the bickerman of the week because he just infuriated me with that.
I'm going back to the menu and starting a mini golf. So the bickerman issue was things happened. I said I forgot at some point. I'm like, we probably had that conversation.
You did not say you forgot. You did not say you forgot. You swore it didn't happen.
And then I didn't care anymore. I gave up and was like, it probably did. Whatever. We could do it. Give me 5 minutes. I'll be ready. Because the stuff was set up then, and it wasn't today. But it was then. We had everything all set up. I was ready. Like 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's bump a couple out. And then it didn't happen.
Why didn't it happen?
Because you didn't eat.
Because I was mad.
Yeah, but I told you why I was. I said, hey, I'm hungry. I have a headache. I'm sorry. give me a little bit and give me that bomb ass spaghetti. And
yes,
yeah, that's what it was. I
Yep.
ate the spaghetti.
The
she
spaghetti
made some
was
baked
really
spaghetti,
good.
and it was like it had like biscuits and gravy in it.
It did not have it has Alfredo sauce in it.
Not a far stretch from gravy.
As well as the meat marinara. It's so good. And
Anyways,
angel hair pasta.
That's what it was. I told you I didn't feel good, so I didn't want to do anything.
So I got him to come back around with my spaghetti.
Yeah, well, no, I told you, because after that I was like, all right, let's go. I was back to normal. I wasn't hungry, but I was like, I had gone so long without eating that I was hungry, but I couldn't eat, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We did the same thing.
Sure.
You've done that. You do that like almost every day.
Well, I just forget to eat because I get busy with work.
Yeah, and sometimes
and then by the time I realize I haven't eaten, I'm gonna
I take breakfast seriously because I take medications in the morning. If I don't eat within a timely manner, I'm not though.
I know.
But I take medications, and so I need to eat or I get nauseous. Well, I got to eat within like an hour of taking them, which I usually take them right before I leave. I get something to eat when I get to work, right? It works out. So if I forget to do that, I have a terrible morning. But usually around lunchtime, I'll get hungry enough, like, oh, I didn't eat breakfast, and I'll eat, and I'll be fine, and it never makes it home, you know.
Aww.
When I eat breakfast, I don't eat lunch, and then I come back around and I haven't eaten. I get cranky, and I had a headache, and nothing was working well. It was a terrible day. But I digress.
And then he made me mad, and so I told him I was not recording with him. Regardless.
Okay. But we did do some other things.
We did?
We had your reunion. Your reunion sounded interesting. We'll get to that.
Well, that had nothing to do with our argument.
I know, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Oh.
We'll get to that in a little bit. We're going to talk about that. That's our topic. I don't know if you guys haven't noticed yet. This is kind of more of a... We started this idea as like an off-the-cuff kind of, hey, these are updates thing. The Jonah Hill thing kind of led into some other serious stuff. It kind of went on a little bit longer than that, but we do want to get to the updates, or like the updates and what's coming up, and our schedule is going to be kind of a little hectic for the next month or so. So, like this week we're pretty clear, but this weekend I have a lot of things to do.
Well, Friday starts the Halloween festivities.
Yes, Friday, Saturday are the Halloweens. Then next week is actual Halloween, which our new tradition is we do a piñata on Halloween.
This was a COVID tradition.
And it works out well. We just kept it going. It's great.
Yeah.
We do trunk or treats on the weekend. We'll go do the piñata on the
let's back up. So we weren't doing the trunk or treats. We hadn't been doing those since the pandemic. We were just doing the little Halloween party, and we would do the piñata. And our son, the youngest, started to catch on that his friends were getting to go trick-or-treating and he wasn't. And so that made me feel bad. So our plan is to just load him up this weekend with trunk or treats so that he thinks he went trick-or-treating. And then...
I mean, does it matter? Like, trunk or treat, it's all the same thing.
Yep. And then on Tuesday, we will still do our piñata and our Halloween goodies and things like that.
Yeah, it's not like a big piñata. We'll just get like a little one from like Walmart and fill it with candy. So everyone gets candy and has a good time. And there'll be like, a little cake or whatever. We kind of have a little Halloween party.
And I'm going to attempt this year, because I do have in-office duty on Halloween. It's a Tuesday this week, or this year. So I'm going to try to dress up as Medusa. So we'll see how this goes, because I'm going to make a crown of snake hair.
That should be fun.
And then I'm also going to use, what is it? Oh, what is the nylons?
I have no idea.
That you can, anyways, fishnets. I'm going to put a fishnet on my face and then put makeup on so that I can try to make it look like scales. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
It's very interesting. I have a little airbrush thing. We can airbrush on your face.
Do you have airbrush makeup?
I have whatever poisonous, noxious paint they use for airbrushing. But it's the same. I mean, it's just it's an air tool. I got clean ones. I can just do that. And if you have stuff to put in it.
I don't have airbrush makeup.
Oh, okay. Well then.
I might have face paint, though, that we can put in there.
Maybe. We could do something. We'll talk about that later.
So that's our whole little...
That's the Halloween, and then we have, like, not this weekend, next weekend, we have NASCAR.
Mm-hmm.
That's like 4 days. So we'll be doing that. We're going to probably do a vlog for that, or attempt to. We're going to attempt to.
We'll see how the audio sounds.
Well, no, the audio is going to be garbage. We
have to do voiceovers, he says.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those where it's going to be a voiceover, because I plan on taking a GoPro. I have a couple other cameras. I'm going to try a few things. We're going to experiment. And just kind of record what goes on at a typical NASCAR race. We'll be going to 3 of them. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 4th, 5th, and 6th. Or something like that. I think that's what it is. And yeah, we'll just take videos from all of them, put them together, and so you guys can see what NASCAR is kind of about. We'll give some details on that. So if people are interested, there's, they have a little bit of idea of what goes on there. That was the worst shot I possibly could have done in my whole life.
It's a lot of fun. And we end up getting the infield passes. We get to go over and try to get autographs from the drivers. Our kids love it.
We'll show you guys all that. Yeah, it's basically what they do. What's 5, 6 years ago?
Yeah. My favorite memory to this day is always going to be baby boy getting an autograph on his back from Kyle Busch while he was trying to hide from Kyle Busch.
Yeah. He was nervous, and it's just goes up there and told Kyle Busch, I was like, he's just a little...
He's scared.
He's a little scared. He's like, I would be too. Because he played... Wait, not this year. His reputation's gotten better this year.
Yeah.
People are liking him because he's driving a Chevy now.
His attitude's better, too.
Yeah, he's been
through a lot of family stuff, and I think that's contributed to him realizing that as much as it's stressful to be a driver, it's more stressful to have a sick wife.
Perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, it puts things in perspective. So, yeah, we do that. All the fun stuff. We get to see 3 champions. Like the NASCAR Super Bowl. So that'll be interesting. Then
maybe
we'll have a couple weeks off. So
maybe Blakey will be there again.
I doubt it.
I think he's in town that weekend.
Oh.
Blake.
He was in town like last weekend.
I think he has a concert.
No, that was like 2-3 weeks ago.
I know, but he added another...
I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know. He shows up wherever. We seen Blake Shelton and Pitbull there.
Blake Shelton is very close buddies with Clint Boyer, and so he'll just show up.
Well, Clint Boyer works in the front now.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, they're
he's more fun that way.
I mean, it's one of those things where I would like to do that just for everybody who wants to or is interested, knows kind of like what a race is. And just, I mean, the biggest shock for most people I tell is how the access you get to the teams, the equipment, and the drivers. Yeah, they pretty much let you observe everything that's going on. There's literally, they redid the infield area, and we have seats. We don't even go to our seats. We just go straight to the infield. The garages are open. All the cars are there, like in the morning before they do everything. All the garages are there. Teams are working on them. And you can just walk up. There's like a 3-foot-high wall, like little chain fence between you and that car. And you can just go and ask the team and drivers if they're there, questions about the car, or just watch them put it together. It's a neat experience. Oh, I got it. So then we have a couple weeks off. And then we're back to California.
And then Disneyland.
Well, it's a couple weeks after that, yeah.
Yep.
First weekend, the last week. We got something going on in November. So it'll be a little busy, but in between there, I mean, we'll probably have there's going to be things. The way we've been going, if we just actually sat and thought about it, we could have wrote down the past 6 months and had content for 15 years.
I have content for 15 years.
Yeah, and I don't write things down, so it's a problem. I'll talk all day.
He also doesn't read, guys, so don't write him anything ever, because you'll get your feelings hurt. Because he'll tell you he doesn't want to read it. Then he'll tell you to summarize it. Then he'll say he did read it, and then he won't remember anything that was in it. So just don't do it.
Yeah, I still forget there's a website.
Yeah, he hasn't read my blog at all.
What's the website? I will get around to it someday.
You will not.
I will. I promise you. I won't do it. It will happen.
So, reunion festivities.
Reunion festivities.
Yeah.
Which you just ditched me all weekend.
That's why he was punishing me on Sunday. Like, that's what I've decided. That was his little petty.
Oh, I don't care. I just didn't feel good. It
was his little petty inner dialogue saying, "Oh, let's just not record with her because we're mad because she was gone."
You know, I don't care at all.
All right, Jonah.
At all. They call me Jonah.
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill?
He's really not toxic, guys. It's fine.
Jonah Hill?
So anyway, Friday, it was a lot of fun. We went to well, let me just start with, I tried to talk myself out of going. I have been dealing very badly with panic attacks. I've been dealing with terrible anxiety for months. And something occurred with one of my children. And since then, I've just had a very hard time. Whenever I'm not with my children, I have a hard time. When I leave my children somewhere, I have a hard time. I'm really struggling.
You just have a hard time leaving the house for long periods of time.
I do. I have panic attacks. We're working through it.
It's getting better.
It is getting better. I have improved, but it's still, there are times. And so I completely tried to talk myself out of going to this reunion. Well, I tried to talk myself out of going to the football game.
What the hell?
The night before the actual reunion. And my friend is a good friend, and she didn't let me talk my way out of it. And I'm glad for that because I had a really good time. We went, it ended up being really cool because I'd forgotten that our class president was actually somebody that I went to elementary school with too. And so we ended up taking a group picture of all of the people that went to my elementary school as well as graduated from my high school. And my elementary school had the highest number of students that went to the reunion. So it ended up being really neat. We got to catch up with a lot of people and talk to a lot of people. And then on Saturday night, me and my date, we just decided that we were going to only stay, it was like 4 hours. We were only going to stay a couple hours and then just go back to my house and, sing karaoke and have drinks and have fun. And so that's what we did. So it was very low key. We had icebreaker questions where we had to answer questions about things from high school. So that was kind of funny. I found out rather quickly that some of the people in high school never went beyond high school because they're still really petty and silly, but that's okay.
They're simple.
But it was a lot of fun. Had a good weekend.
Yeah, I didn't make it past high school.
And since I wasn't home Friday evening nor Saturday evening to have biggerments with Hok, he decided to have a bigger argument with me on Sunday.
That's what it was.
So that's
all the inflammation in my body was from exactly that.
I know.
It was because I had nowhere to go and it just all got stuck up in there. Who says that? Stuck up in there?
You, apparently.
Apparently. Interesting evening. Issues over here with the ball mouse control. I want to go back to play my water game, like Water World. Go kill the Sharky game.
Yeah, that would give me.
It's not that bad.
Anxiety.
I thought I would, but it isn't as bad as I thought it was. But it's kind of fun because now I'm getting to the point where I have gear. It used to be broken.
So I did hear something really interesting this week. There's a podcast that I follow, and it's a married couple. And not everything that they say do I agree with because they live their lives a little bit differently than you and I do. But there are some things that I think is really interesting, and I just enjoy them as a couple, even if I'm not exactly like them. But there was something that, so the podcast is called To Be Better, and it's a married couple, and they talk about relationships and respect in relationships, etc. And there was something that they talked about called equity versus equality. And so what he would say by that is, they were talking about a couple where the woman was beating on the man. Just, she would get drunk and she'd beat on him. And he said, see, that's what I'm talking about. She doesn't want equality, because if she wanted equality, then he should be able to turn around and hit her right back. She wants equity. She wants to be able to say that this is what I'm worth. This is what I'm owed. And so I thought that was really interesting. I like that term. So I'm going to look into that a little bit more and think about how I want to incorporate that.
Like I said, people don't want equality.
No,
you don't want the equality, because that means you're equal. And as I keep saying, the Olympics proves it with that. Whatever event that was proves that men and women are not, at least physically, equal. No. Intellectually, we're all. I mean, intellectually, it could be either way.
It could be either way.
Because that's where we're all equals. The intellectual part where we're all equal. Physically, though, we're completely different. We're vastly different.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening in. Please share, like, subscribe, and join us for the next episode.
Hasta luego.
Aw, Potato, why you gotta be so cute?